And welcome back, everybody. My name is Josh Rutledge, and this is Astral's
Stew. I will take it away, Stefan. Go ahead.
No, I was just joking. I just wanted to.
You were just joshing me.
I'm just joshing you. Actually, I was joshing myself.
That's some top tier pun. That's some top tier pun. Damn.
It's even better when someone named Josh makes the pun, right?
Mm-hmm. My favorite nickname for you that I used to call you in high school was Oshkosh Bajosh.
Oshkosh Bajosh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny because I used to wear Oshkosh,
Bagosh
overalls or whatever when I was a kid. So,
yeah, you should have taken a Sharpie and just put a J there.
I just finished watching Heartstopper on Netflix season 2, and one of their characters wears those dungaree kind of Oshkosh like as an adult. So how weird.
You know who else does? Chucky.
Yeah. And the striped
I thought you were going to say Hitler. You know who else does? Hitler.
I mean, Chucky's kind of almost as bad. God, how sad is that a serial killer ain't even close to Hitler?
Yeah.
Well, that's Astral Stew. We'll see you guys
really.
later.
Yeah. On another note, things are fun.
Hopefully he remains the worst. You know?
Yes.
So now that you're depressed, let's see if we can lighten the mood.
Let's talk about Heinrich Himmler.
But no, a couple days ago, Santosh brought the topic of today's show to the group, and it's timely because of all the stuff that's going on right now with David Grusch. And whether or not you think he's full of crap or you think he's telling everybody the truth, he introduced a new term, in the form of NIH or NHI, non-human intelligence. And I've heard a lot of different things about this since it came forward, but I want to know, Santosh, since you brought it to the group, what are your thoughts on the term? And then let's kind of go around and talk about it.
If you, harkening back to watching that whole thing in front of the oversight committee was pretty epic, but the one that rung out first, just to throw this one in there as well, is non-human biologics. That's the first one that I heard, and now we're on to non-human intelligence, since they're all like, oh, this breaks apart quantum physics and blah blah clickbait, kind of stuff. But that's I'm very much of the opinion, well, it's not an opinion, UFOs are fact.
Yeah.
We are now talking about what may be piloting them, and I'm like, gosh, so many things count for non-human biologics first, right? That could be matter off of anything, but now that they're saying non-human intelligences, this is a whole new category of things. We're my favorite of the go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go to your favorite.
My favorite is that it is our species time traveling from the future back to us.
Wouldn't that still be human?
After so long,
we don't know. Yeah,
is it still?
I mean, if we evolved from ape, right?
Yeah, and we're the ones that
just simply ape at one point
ourselves.
Yeah,
went back in time to make sure that we had that leg up.
So someone had sex with an ape.
A lot of people. David Huggins had a lot of sex with
David.
Yeah. We're it's what it is. It's David Huggins' offspring
for all
David.
And what's his name? David Huggins and that dude that sliced an alien in half. What was his name?
The alien that tried to kidnap his wife and he cut him up with a samurai sword or whatever.
Oh, no.
I thought that was Skinwalker Ranch and how it started.
Stardust. That's Stardust Ranch.
Stardust.
I was thinking of the other guy, the guy that we did a episode. You know who I'm talking about, that videotaped aliens at his window and stuff, and now he's in prison.
Oh, yeah. That guy, crap, I'm not going to remember his name, but yeah,
and one of his biologics contacted us and we never got it.
That was.
But anyways,
and then we tried to get her on the show, and she ghosted us. So, anyways,
she's a ghost.
So back to it,
back to non-human biologics.
Yes.
Now, I had a conversation with my brother, Jed, a couple days ago, a week ago, or something like that.
You didn't inquire,
and he was asking me. Sorry, what?
I said you didn't inquire to Stu for the stew.
No. Well, it was just a standard call. I have a standing call with my brother, and brothers and
You guys
stuff like that.
stand?
Huh? Do we stand? Sometimes
guys-
we do stand. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, he asked me what my thoughts were on all this stuff. And so we were talking about, the use of the term non-human biologics or non-human intelligence. And he said that he had heard from some critics or skeptics, whatever you want to say, that an ant on a leaf is non-human biologics and a non-human craft.
Right.
And
That's
so-
why I don't like non-human biologics, but I
Which
like
way-
non-human intelligence.
Well,
Right.
an octopus is a non-human intelligence.
True. Well,
No,
I mean, we
well,
sent
I mean,
a dog up into space. What if they sent octopuses to us?
See, when I think intelligence, I think something comparable to humanity.
But we've had this conversation before.
I know we have.
About
But
intelligence
why-
being broader than humans.
Why is an octopus intelligent but an ant's not?
I'm just saying an octopus is
I know.
intelligent, a dolphin's intelligent, anything that can use tools by our standards is intelligent. So there's a lot of different things. Maybe an ant is intelligent. I don't know. I've never sat down and
But
had a
I would say
conversation with an ant.
I would say it has to be intelligent enough to pilot a craft.
But see, that's not the term that he used. And so that's why I say, like, in my opinion, it needs to be non-human advanced intelligence or something like that. There needs to be an extra distinction in there.
Why?
Rules out every other piece of life on the planet that's not human.
Why? But why? Why has it got to be our intelligence? Why can't it be another planet's intelligence?
What do you mean? I said advanced.
So I know, because you're saying it has to be compared to our intelligence here on Earth.
No,
It's like, what if none? That's
No,
what you just said. You said
No,
every
I-
other intelligence on the planet.
I'm just saying.
What other
that
planet are you talking about?
The use of non-human intelligence just means that it's an intelligence that's not human. There needs to be something else in there that distinguishes it from being not human on the Earth or not an existing known life form on the Earth or something like that. It's too ambiguous, in my opinion.
I don't know.
It's sort
I feel like intelligence has always meant you can speak, create language, communicate. That's why dolphins
Okay.
get put into that category.
Right. So it's dolphins that are piloting the craft.
Sure. Why not?
Okay.
That's so long and thanks for all the fish. They had to leave.
again,
Right, so-
we've put dogs in the driver's seat and monkeys. Like,
Right.
it's not that absurd.
My point is that everybody hears non-human intelligence and like immediately goes to transdimensional
Aliens.
beings or ETs or whatever.
Well, like you told me, is a transdimensional Earthian still not a human? Like,
True.
is that tied to our planet? Like being a human?
My point is only to say that if Grusch meant to say something bigger than what we know, he needs to refine his term.
Does he though? Because I think you could take any fucking term and turn it into whatever you want. If you would have said advanced intelligence, you'd have been like, well, dolphins are advanced. I mean, they can do this. It doesn't matter what it is.
It's
Somebody
not-
can say something.
To
There's
me,
not going to
it's-
be a term.
What
To
about
me, it's not the
superior?
intelligence piece. It's the non-human side.
Superior intelligence. Somebody needs to balls up and use that.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it implies like if you take a look at, to your point, Stefan, the known species on the planet, which has developed. I'm going to back myself up on. I'm going to back myself out of saying this. I was going to say which has developed a complex societal infrastructure would be humans, but there's a lot of complex societal infrastructures that have been built by non-humans. So, I don't. There's no distinction, I guess. It's you either have to take it as he meant not of the earth or whatever, or he didn't.
well, not necessarily, because again, it could be an ultra-terrestrial. We don't know that.
Or
But the
since
fact of the
Guardians
matter
Galaxy
is-
just came out, it could be an intelligent raccoon.
Yes. But the fact of the matter is, no matter what skeptics want to try to do, the motherfucker basically said alien, and it's awesome. And
Just so
need
you know,
to be
that's our
excited
second
about it.
F-bomb. If you drop one more, we lose monetization on this video. So try to
On
watch
this
the
episode?
Yeah.
Did I say it the first time?
No, Stefan said it twice. He's really spun up about this one.
Cheeky monkey.
I had my coffee.
Ah,
By the way, the dude's name was Stan Romanek.
Romanek, yeah, thank you.
Yep.
I can
I'd like
see
to
the
rewind
picture in my
and
head. I
address
just can't
to
think
the
of the
fact
guy's name.
that what do you mean demonetized? I haven't seen a penny from this. What did you just tell on yourself?
Oh, I didn't tell anything. They're monetized. I don't think we've made a penny yet on our video, but so more people share these things if you like them. That'd be great.
So I'm allowed to say one more F-bomb?
Save it.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Oh.
We can just risk it. I mean,
We can just risk it. God, we're going to lose all that money. All that Astros.
I mean, it could be worse. Ryan Sprague, I don't know if you saw his announcement, the Somewhere to the Skies, Ryan Sprague, his whole channel got demonetized on YouTube.
What? I did not see that.
Yeah, just randomly. They just demonetized it, and he's been trying to follow up with them about why, and they won't tell him.
Wow, that sucks because I know he makes a little money off his.
Yeah, I mean, he puts in a lot of time to make his show and stuff, and that's like one of his income streams. So
that sucks.
Yeah,
man, I feel like that's happened to him before, though. Something in my brain, unless I'm having a.
No, I don't think he's ever been demonetized.
I swear I think it's happened before, unless it's one of them. What the hell is that thing called?
Warning. I don't know what you're trying to go for.
Where you remember something that didn't happen?
Not David.
Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Can you hear me right now?
Wrong.
Did the Men in Black get to you, Stefan?
Yeah, my brain just died.
It's called a Mandela effect.
Mandela effect. No, it's
I already said it once. Where did you go?
No, you said it wrong. You said Mandela. It's Mandela.
Mandela.
No, Mandela.
Mandela.
It's named after the president of South Africa, Mandela, not Mandala.
Mandela.
Mandala, no holla.
How do you know we're not pronouncing the guy's last name wrong?
Because it's an E.
Because of the news?
So if you heard it on CBS, it must be right.
Yes, I think in that one sentence, that logical jump is to have blind faith immediately. Agreed.
Anywho, yeah.
Anyway,
right.
Stefan is having a Mandela effect.
That's right.
About seeing Ryan Sprague's account get demonetized. But it actually did happen this time. Whether or not it happened before, we don't know. Somebody fill out a FOIA, find out for us.
Apparently, those are easy to get.
I'm sure somebody in the government blocked it first time. So that's how it goes down. So I mean, today I saw a blue and white helicopter. So that's getting close to the black helicopters, right? I mean, what if the people who fly the black helicopters, like what if all the black helicopters are like in maintenance? What do they do? Like, do they rent a blue and white helicopter to fly around? Like, how does that work?
Well, yeah, that's the loaner.
Yeah. It's small.
It's not even a maintenance. That's just when the black one's down, they gotta get the loaner out. It's blue and white.
It's it's smaller. It doesn't have Android Auto.
Doesn't have Android Auto. Whatever. Men in Black are Apple people. Let's be honest.
They probably are Apple people.
So I had a cool moment yesterday. We'll get back to non-human intelligence here in a second, but yesterday we're in Arizona. We're seeing clouds again because we're finally in monsoon season, and there was one single round cloud in the sky. And my wife and I are driving with the babers in the back, and she looks at me and taps me on the shoulder, and she goes, "You think there's a UFO behind that cloud?" And I was just like, "Do you want to have another baby?"
Aww.
But that's like one of the few times she's like talked about like UFO stuff. I thought that was kind of cool.
So then you bought a lottery ticket. So
yeah, we did actually buy a lottery ticket and didn't get it.
Didn't win it.
No.
Somebody did.
Yeah. But yeah, and I for some reason, sorry to flip it back to non-human intelligence, but I for some reason thought that originally it was non-human entity. Originally, which changed things for me as well, because that's more along the lines of biologic.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and you mentioned something about Santosh about piloting the craft, right? But there's also a lot of, I think, evidence to support that not all of them may be piloted, at least not locally piloted, in the form of like drones or whatever. So that would also imply some sort of an intelligence that's not actually here, but sending, drones and probes and things like that to investigate us.
What about in all this AI film, or like Rookamaror? What if AI would be a non-human intelligence?
Right, but that goes back to not being a non-human biologic.
Oh, biologics. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But
because I thought about that.
But you just like we've talked about before many times on this show and other shows, everything doesn't have to fit into one bucket. So you could have something that's a non-human intelligence and is also not a non-human biologic.
It's called a cyborg.
You could have something that's a non-human biologic and not be a non-human intelligence. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be that both labels fit the thing that that it is. So you could have an AI that's non-human intelligence. We've never been able to capture one of them. They fly the drones around.
We ain't never been able to get one of them.
But non-human biologics,
they's elusive.
We got those in the lab, and they're not very bright. I don't know, but it's just, or they are very bright. I don't know.
I don't know. I've decided to bust out the Encyclopedic Psychic Dictionary because I don't have a regular dictionary.
Does
it have non-human biologics in it? Because if it does,
I don't think so.
Blitzer was a time.
But however, intelligence is stated as such: a coordination and blending of the forces of life, being chemical in action, used in degrees by each individual and inanimate things, an orderly formation and action of energy, and the infinitesimal particle knows its own function, that which is in all matter to sustain it, a conscious being throughout all infinity also. So basically it says, though, it can be an infinitesimal particle, but it has to know its own function to be an intelligence. And then I laughed because the next phrase is intelligence in the sky, which says spacecraft or UFO needing an intelligent entity similar to a human to propel it, as opposed to amoebas or critters in the atmosphere.
So I think it would be probably safe to say that Grusch, when referencing or using the term intelligence, is probably using more of a human-based definition of the term. Would that be a safe assumption?
Yep, human-like.
Well, what I mean by human-based is, like, in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, whatever it says as intelligence, that's probably
I didn't have that.
Meant. Huh?
I didn't have that, but now I got to look it up.
But I do, and I'm getting ready to read it to you.
Oh.
Got to be read too. Oh, also, we need to account for the fact that Nope probably has it right too, and there are just ships that are things, are actual biological
entities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Break it down, Josh.
So the first is the ability to learn or understand or to deal with new or trying situations.
So the ability to learn.
Also, it says also the skilled use of reason. So again, lots of things on the planet that falls into that.
Also, I'm an Oxford dictionary guy.
Okay. The ability to apply knowledge to manipulate one's environment or to think abstractly as measured by objective criteria, such as tests.
Interesting.
Mental acuteness. And the last one here has a little prefix of Christian Science, the basic eternal quality of divine mind.
Josh just had to get his Christianity in this
episode.
Right?
I'm just reading on the page.
That could technically be a Hindi thing as well.
I'm just reading on the page. So if you use that definition and you use the human-centric view of Earth, and you assume that that's what Grusch meant when he made the comment, I think he probably means not of human not of our known, what we know about the Earth, basically. Which still leaves the door open for ET, UT, UTIs,
drink some cranberry,
QTs, CTs, any other T's that I'm thinking of.
Iced tea,
the rapper, not the drink.
not the drink.
Did I miss Mr.
Mr.
T?
You sure did.
Oh yeah, Mr. T. Yeah.
I pity the fool that missed Mr. T.
Yeah. That's actually when you don't hear any sound, it's because it's him saying it really loud. I pity the fool. I pity the fool. I pity the fool.
That's when he runs the record on 45, but he's playing a 33.
Yep. And that's Fisher Price record player. So anyways, bottom line, it's a new term up for debate and probably will be debated forever until somebody else comes up with yet a new term.
It's just like UAP is not even unidentified aerial phenomenon anymore. It's now unidentified anomalous phenomenon.
Yeah.
It is evolving.
Like, we're
right
already
in front of us.
trying to switch over to UAP.
Right.
And now we got to switch what UAP means.
I mean, I feel like we'd be better off just rephrasing UFO. Unidentified
freaking object.
Flagrant.
Fucking object. There's the third one.
Sure, he did set you up for that. Good job.
Well, unidentified effing object would also be found at the center part of Churchill Downs with the infield. You'd also
the
find
infield, yeah. Yep.
Unidentified flagrant object. What about that? It's flagrant. It's flying through our skies. It didn't ask to be there, but it is.
I've had a few.
We've just not gotten close enough.
Speaking of fragrant, I've had a few unidentified flatulent objects before.
Yeah, I said flagrant, not fragrant.
I know.
No,
I said
Santosh said
fragrant.
Santosh said fragrant. Okay, I missed that.
So calm down.
I was wondering how we got from flagrant to flatulent. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's an F. You could just go straight to farting, but
for schnickety.
For schnickety. Foo schnickens.
But yeah. So I think we've killed that one. We've discussed it.
Yeah, well,
did you have any other points that you wanted to make about it, Santosh?
I just want to do a quick bitch about how they're going after Grush's mental his
past.
Yeah, like his diagnoses. I'm kind of like, that's
He's got PTSD. Who cares?
Well, it's like low politics, right? I'm like they're just being petty, and I'm hoping that means it's easy.
Well, and that's I don't. By the time this airs, I don't know where that story is going to be, but it's just really weird. It's like, the interview, the original interviewer, and he says Grusch called the sheriff's department, and they said nope, nobody put in a FOIA. But then the reporter of the whatever the website is says no, they put in a FOIA. But then he came back like a day later and he's like, well, we got a tip to put in a FOIA.
Just
and then it's like, okay, well then it's basically like saying, if I steal money from a cash register, or if I tell somebody to go steal money from the cash register, I'm still involved in that, in that act of stealing money from the cash register. So it's in my mind, it's a distinction without a difference. Somebody still led him to go and look into Grush's past in hopes that it will somehow smear him in some way. But
yeah, which is hilarious because it's like you got pretty much most people that have been in war,
right?
Like veterans have PTSD,
right? And
we try to support them in any way. But you're okay with 2 over 80-year-old dudes running for president?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and it also it calls from an evil genius perspective, right? What we have recently in the realm of evidence is previously we had primarily private citizens coming forward with their stories, right? Their accounts, their contact experiences, etc. And there was a question around the accountability or whatever for that particular person, whether or not they were trustable, so on and so forth. Then you had military people come forward and say, well, okay, if you won't believe his story, then I'll tell you mine. And here's somebody who's been hyped up as anybody in the military who's come forward with a message. Somebody has received special training for it, etc. So, from an evil genius perspective, in calling forth the existence of PTSD as a potential for not making sound judgments or making stuff up or whatever, it basically calls into question every military person who is a veteran who may have in the past or in the future will come forward with their own evidence. And so, like I said, from an evil genius perspective, it's it's a bold play, but from an outright prick perspective, it's a dumb move. So I can see, I don't see anybody going for this and saying, "Oh yeah, this person's got PTSD. They must have made the whole thing up." So, anyways, that's my dialogue on that whole thing. Mm-hmm. Now, where will it go from here? Because I don't think there's anything else, that they could do to smear Grusch in any way other than, somehow falsify documents that he was never a part of the task force. And
which
then
they tried to do that with Lou at first, remember?
Well, didn't the Pentagon just throw a couple of barbs at Grusch? Like being like, he's never been a part of this.
They did the same thing to Lou Elizondo until they had to finally be like, okay, yeah, he was. Yeah.
Legit. Which is, it's funny because that's everybody's thing about Nick Pope is the same way. Like there's a bunch of people who are anti-Nick Pope because they say that he never actually held that position within the UK government. But again, is that all just an effort by the UK government to discredit him in some way? So,
which is great because we just saw him speak a few weeks ago, and he was talking about how he wasn't even a UFO guy when he got into it.
So it's it's kind of like the Navajo Rangers guy, right? They were just Navajo Rangers, and then they started getting reports of paranormal type activity, and they got assigned the cases, and then and then their exposure to it over time changed the way they look at it. So
Buffy was just a cheerleader, and then all of a sudden she was killing vampires.
Right,
she was the chosen one.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, so it'd be interesting to see where all this stuff goes with Grusch. If they try to discredit him more.
Well, right, beyond getting him in a couple of skiffs, his story's over. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like his time in the spotlight is done. He did what he needed to do. He set it in motion.
So I hope that door stays open.
Yeah, it would be cool to see more from him. Something, who knows? But he did what he needed to do.
Nick Pope said the same thing. I think Grusch said it, or maybe it wasn't Grusch. Maybe it was the other guy, the Commander Braver. Thank you. He's like, there's nothing classified about saying we have evidence of UFO coming from outside of our ecosystem. Like there's no security clearance needed to know that information. Even Grusch was talking about, or maybe it was Fravor as well, talking about the video footage that they have of, where that military cameras or whatever has captured. He's like, you can blur out the stuff on the video that tells somebody what type of equipment was used or what system was used or whatever to capture the video, and still show the meat of the video that solidifies for people that this stuff is legit. There's nothing classified about that either.
Unless it's on technology that has yet to be disseminated.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. If it's on technology that's yet to be discussed or revealed, Fravor's saying just blur all that stuff out. He's like, redact the video, basically.
You can't blur a hologram. Like, I guess you could. I guess you could blur anything, technically. Bigfoot does it all the time. Let's ask him how he does it.
Yeah.
He does it all the time. Oh, Bigfoot.
Well, it's because Bigfoot is naked and he just walks around with a permanent blur over his private bits.
Mm-hmm. I did not know that he was adults only.
Yep, he's a naturalist.
You should see his OnlyFans.
If there are furries and there's Harry and the Henderson, there has to be like a Venn diagram of somebody.
I was like, don't Venn diagram me. There is someone. There is.
Oh my goodness, Stefan, you could totally get a Bigfoot suit and make your own OnlyFans. Bigfoot, Sasquatch OnlyFans.
That's a brilliant idea.
Man, like there's a guy on TikTok that I follow that is a Sasquatch that plays saxophone.
The Sasquatch. Yes.
Sasquatch is freaking amazing. So yes, I could do OnlyFans and
you could just do like an OnlyFans of Sasquatch feet. I feel like people would flock to it.
The ultimate foot pick.
Yep.
Yep.
You could just do all kinds of cryptids feet. You could put a hoof up there for JD.
Yep.
Okay,
I bet you. I never
don't see the coffee table book just yet, but I
Listen, here's the weird thing about the Jersey Devil, specifically our friend JD. His hooves, they have toes. Just gonna leave it.
I think they're shoes he wears to make it look like feet.
I'm just gonna leave it there. Let y'all work your magic
into those gloved like socks.
Yeah, they're socks. I think he puts his hoof in. That way, when he walks around in his trench coat, it looks like he's got feet.
But just know he's got hooves and toes, and it's awkward.
Hooves and toes.
Hooves and toes.
I mean, that's
Hooves
like
and
the
toes.
Hooves and toes. What's the head, shoulders, knee, hooves and toes? Hooves and toes.
Hooves and toes. Oh,
all right,
that's good stuff.
So I know we're about at time, but I do have one last little thing I wanted to ask you all about. Along with all the stuff with Grusch and everything else, you look at like it's been basically 70 or 80 years of misinformation, disinformation, misdirection, everything else on the UFO topic. We've had more stuff come out in the last 5 years than we did in the previous 65 years. I was talking to somebody else about this, and I expressed to them that I feel like there's some event that's on the horizon, and not event horizon. There's an event that's on the horizon, and it's approaching, like timeline. It's approaching, right? And so there's this need to all of a sudden get us up to speed so that the government has an opportunity to save a little face for this thing that's coming. And when I expressed that to this other person, they thought, I kind of get the same feeling. And this other person is really not a big UFO community person. So I just thought it was really interesting that they also get this feeling that there's like some impending event that's coming. What are your all's thoughts?
Sure. I mean, I think we've talked about that before, that, this is a way for them to start to save face. This is that they're the one that is really opening that door. They're the one that said, Grusch, go ahead, go forward. Let's start to make this happen.
Yeah. That there's all this idea about,
because disclosure is not a flood, it's a trickle.
Is there, so, I'm sorry, this just popped in my mind. Could the discrediting of Grusch also be planned to rally people behind him and his message in an effort to push again more for disclosure? Like I used to think
I'd love for that to happen.
Maybe it's a chess game with people who want it and people who don't, and they're fighting against each other on which one is going to win. But maybe it's everybody pushing for disclosure, but if it just came out and said, yes, this is it, and we've been lying to you for 70 years, how many people would reject it? But if people feel like they've got the government over the barrel and they force them into revealing information, they're more likely to accept whatever that information is, because then the people, the public, feels like they've interrogated the government into giving them what they want.
Like the Patriot Act, and then everybody's like, what the hell did we agree to?
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say, which is basically what these congressmen are doing, these congressmen and women are doing, because they represent the people.
Right.
So they are the people that are doing that.
So maybe there is no group of people that don't want disclosure. There's an illusion of a group of people who don't want disclosure, so that it's not as easily given. We have to work for it to get it out there. So we feel like what we get is the honest truth.
Right, because of the Brookings report. Right?
Right. But this has all been planned about how we're going to get this information, 60, 70 years ago.
Yep. Because this way, if the people demand it, it's less of a panic.
Right. Exactly. Boom. We just busted the case wide open.
Wide open.
This video needs 1 million views. So, no. Anyways. Any other thoughts on that other than what was said? Okay, cool. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping up then, if you guys are all right with that.
Yep.
All right. So again, Astral Stew is available on YouTube, but also as a podcast version anywhere that you get your podcasts. If you have YouTube Premium, you can actually download this to your phone and listen to it whenever you want.
Yep.
And then go to what's it called? AnotherRealmMedia.com for the other podcasts that are in the Another Realm Media network, which includes the Convergence Enigma that Stefan and I do, Santosh's podcast, Psychic Sleep Hour with Santosh, and a few others that are still out there for consumption. Santosh, you have Psychic Sleep Hour that you do every Sunday night, I believe is still ongoing. Would you like to take a minute and tell people where they can do that?
Yeah, so probably the quickest way to stay on top of what I'm doing is my Instagram right now. I'm pretty good about putting that up. So Santosh David 333. And then Sunday nights are guided meditations that are awesome because you are already at home in your comfy spot, which is half the battle of like quieting and going in. But yeah, that's every Sunday via Zoom, and that's, I believe, on the Mind Body app, as well as SantosDavid.com, my website, as well as something or other out there. I'm sorry, bad me.
All the things.
All the things.
Yeah, Instagram's probably going to let you know most of what's going on right now.
Cool. So yeah, make sure you check that out. Check out AnotherRealmMedia.com, the ConvergenceEnigma.com for Stefan and I's, and that one is available on all the different podcasts because we got that out there before all this crap changed. So, anyways, thank you so much again for tuning in. Please leave your comments below. I'd love to know what people think about the idea of non-human intelligence, non-human biologics, as well as whether or not this whole dog and pony show is just that, and it's just another cog in the wheel of disclosure. So,
chain.
Anyways, this has been Josh, and I'll catch y'all next time.
It's been Stefan. Deuces.
I'm still Santosh, and I still don't have a byline.
All right. Good night, everybody.